one is a DNS. Domain name, system or server. Domain name system or domain name server. What this domain name system or domain name server it will do? Whenever any end user is opening any website, it will convert domain name into IP address. Vice versa, IP address to domain name also. That is the functionality of DNS server. It will convert domain name into IP address and also IP address to domain name. So that is the functionality of DNS. DNS port number. What DNS port number?
53.
53. And which protocol or server will support both TCP and UDP connection? Which server or protocol will support both TCP and UDP connections?
Network.
Oh, DNS. Answer is DNS. So DNS, it's a very important interview question, guys. Almost all the companies, they will expect this question. So which protocol or server will support both TCP and UDP connection? Answer is DNS. DNS will support both TCP and UDP connections. So that is about overall DNS side. Now we can see this definition is fine, but that is not sufficient. So I will explain about how the backend process will work. Basically, what I'm trying to say here, what is domain name server? If I'm opening here facebook.com, example for suppose, I open up facebook.com in my web browser. In that scenario, this facebook.com, whatever we are using, it will convert domain name into IP address. Otherwise, I'm opening linkedin.com. Sorry, I will not share my personal details to others. Or otherwise, Twitter. I open the Twitter now. Yeah, can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So twitter.com here. So this twitter.com, whatever I given, the twitter.com is a domain name. This particular domain name will be mapped or converted back into one of the IP address. Okay, that is basically DNS server functionality. Okay. So now we can explain in-depth analysis how this DNS resolution it will happen. For that one, what I will do, I will open one of the draw.io. It's one of the diagram. Architect people, they will use this draw.io. I think last calls also explained this one. Create a new diagram. So example here, DNS resolution, I'm giving title. So this particular draw.io will be used by software architects, product architects, mobile architects, security architects, any architect team. Don't think that architect means only civil architect. They will construct the buildings and they will do the designing. Each and every IT and software industry has architects, not only software, electrical architect, civil architect, mobile, every field they has an architect. Normally they will do designing part basically. Okay. So whoever is designing part, they will use, these are all the couple of websites of open source. I am also using this particular website to draw one of the diagram. It will ask now name of the folder you want to create. So I'm creating DNS resolution or DNS. Save. It's creating now diagram. Yeah, draw.io. Now this is our end user, nothing but your laptop. In your laptop, in the company organization level, you access one of the website. It's a DNS server. Backend is authoritative server. Now, what is the functionality it will work? As a simple, we can say that domain name, it will convert to IP address. IP address, it will convert to domain name. That is the functionality of DNS server. But backend process, you can explain this one interview point of view. Don't explain whatever simple one we discussed. So when the user is giving example, twitter.com, just now we discussed. In the web browser, that web browser may be Google. Web browser may be, Firefox or Safari or Internet Explorer or Google Chrome. So here, twitter.com, this is one of the website end user is trying to give. That request from our laptop, it will go to our private DNS of the company DNS server. This DNS server, it will validate this twitter.com is existing in the cache and also whether it is a blocklisted or whitelisted. So every domain name or every website, every company will not allow. Do you think that every website company will allow? Do you think that every company or website or domain company will allow?
No, sir.
I'm asking you.
No, sir.
No, it will not allow. Example, if I want to say business oriented, they will allow it. News oriented, they will allow it. Okay, sports maybe they will allow it. Games maybe they will allow it. But couple of websites like adult content, they will not allow. So social networking websites, couple of companies they will allow, couple of companies they will not allow. Next one is race or gambling or casino, they will not allow. Terrorism, racism, okay, so harassing, they will not allow. So these are the couple of websites they will not allow. Couple of websites company will allow to access, couple of companies, couple of websites they will not allow. So where that particular filtering they are doing under the part of DNS side. That is called DNS filtering. Which domains we have to allow and which domains we have to block. Filtering means whitelisting and blocklisting. Allowing and blocking. Whitelisting means allowing, blocklisting means blocking. Once the end user is giving twitter.com in the web browser of the Google, that request will go to DNS server. DNS server, it validates in the cache or cache. So in the cache is the temporary storage. The temporary storage, we can call it as buffer. So in the DNS cache, it will verify in the buffer whether DNS server twitter.com is existing or not. In case twitter.com is existing in the cache or cache, now it will respond back to the end user and end user is able to access twitter.com. Okay, so that is about option 1. Now what is option 2? In case the twitter.com is a blocklisted, nothing but it's not allowed to any user and it is existing the cache once again, and DNS server will respond back to the end user, and when the end user is clicking on, it will show like this website is blocked by your network administrator. Please contact your network administrator. So Nothing but it's a block basically. That is also existing in the cache. So that is option 2. So far we discussed two things. Whenever end user giving any domain, that may be Twitter or any website basically or any application, that request will go to DNS server. DNS server will validate whether it is existing in the cache or not, and also it is whitelisted or blocklisted. It's a blocklisted and it is existing in the cache. It will come back to the end user stating that you are not able to access because it's a blocklisted one. It is existing and it is allowed one, then it will respond back to the end user, and end user is able to access the respective domain name. So that is about so far we discussed. Next one. In case that domain name is not existing in the cache, not blocklisted or whitelisted, that request what DNS server will do, it will forward to authoritative server now. Authoritative server once again will verify two options. Option 1, blocklisted. Option 2, whitelisted. If it is blocklisted, what authoritative server will do? Authoritative server will respond back to DNS server. DNS server will put in the cache whatever blocklist domain name is there, and also it will respond back to the end user, and end user is not able to access. In case it is whitelisted, authoritative server will respond back to DNS server. DNS server will put in the cache, and once again it will send it back to the end user, and end user is able to access. This is the overall DNS backend process. Okay. So in the previous classes, we discussed about voice layer approach. Even in the voice layer approach also, what we discussed, whenever end user is giving any website, what is the backend process? What is the backend process we discussed? Example, sbaybank.com, google.com, facebook.com, what the backend process will follow? What the backend process will follow? When the end user is giving google.com in the web browser or sby.com in the web browser, what is the backend process will follow? OSI reference model. OSI reference model. So there also end users give okay google.com only. Here also we are giving google.com only. So whenever interior point of view, if they will ask something, you can explain this on the two ways so far. One is a DNS resolution, one is voice layer reference model. Okay. So that's all about overall DNS resolution, how it will happen. I'm explaining once again. When the end user is giving or employee is giving any domain name in the web browser, that request will go to the DNS server. DNS server, it will validate whether it is whitelisted or blocklisted by verifying in the cache or cache. If it is a blocklisted, it will respond back to the end user. End user is not able to access. That is option 1. Option 2, it is existing the cache and also it is whitelisted. It will respond back to the end user and end user is able to access. So that is option 2. So, and second scenario, if the domain name is not existing in the cache, DNS server will forward that request to authoritative server. Once again, authoritative server will validate two options. Option 1 is a blocklisted. Option 2 is whitelisted. Option 1 is blocklisted. That respond will go back to DNS server, and DNS server will put in the cache or cache, and also it will forward to end user. End user is not able to access the domain. If it is whitelisted, authoritative server will respond back to DNS server. A DNS server, it will put in the cache or cache, and also it will forward back to end user, and end user is able to access. So that is overall DNS backend process. Any doubt? Any doubt? Any doubt? I'm asking you just to say yes or no at least.
No, sir.
Yeah, perfect. So what I will do after this class is over, I will write the backend process here because it's time consuming. So it is available within the, after class is completed by 1 hour. You can go and you can verify backend process. It's my work. I will complete.